are conducted without any media comment as to what happened.
I totally understand.
Okay, so if I invited, I haven't seen the tape, for example, and I wouldn't see the tape at the stage. But if you were to see the tape, you made, or someone in the family made a public comment about the tape, and I haven't, the district attorney hasn't completed his interviews of witnesses, then all of a sudden that person has seen on the news what your account is of the tape, or what you saw on the tape.
Right.
Now we've impugned the integrity of the investigation. And that's what I'm trying to do. And what I want people to understand is we're working to make sure that the family one gets their answers. More importantly, you deserve a pure and a dignified investigation, so you can get the answers to what happened to your loved one. And I want to make sure that happens, and that's important. I don't conduct investigations, but I've asked the police, the district attorney, to make sure there's a thorough, complete investigation, but also to make sure we have a sense of urgency.
Okay, to be quite honest, the way we found out about the situation was through the media. I don't want that to happen.
Well, I understand. The moment this, we get word that the investigation is done, you'll be contacted by someone in my office, probably the manager of safety or the sheriff. So we can bring you all into a private area to allow you to get a check. And I gave my word, I said it to the Minister of Alliance, I've said to others who've asked, the manager of safety has said it, as has the sheriff. Okay?
And if you don't mind asking, my mother, my uncle, and a lot of several of my siblings and my lawyers wanted to know if you'll be willing to meet with me.
Yeah, what I would do is have that request go to our city attorney, because obviously they represent the city.
Right.
And this is, this is a tragic incident that occurred, with regards to your office as well as the sheriff deputies that are involved. And so we want to make sure that, we can sit down and have a conversation. I want to extend my condolences, as I tried to do within hours of learning about Mr. Marshall's death. Okay?
Thank you.
Okay, hang in.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, I know it's no longer your purview, so it's in the DA's office.
Yes.
I know I don't know if I'm asking, do they communicate back with you to at least give an update on how far they are in this process?
Not typically. I mean, we learn that an investigation is complete at the time it's complete. But we have to allow the district attorney, who is again an independently elected official, to conduct his investigation as he would according to the law that he's sworn to protect.
So we don't have any kind of a timeline, any kind of.
I can just tell you just kind of tangentially, the district attorney, sheriff will ask to do everything they can move along as expeditiously as possible. And we just have to go on at this point. Okay? But he understands, I acknowledge the sense of urgency that you expressed to us. Yes, Mitch Morris is a bit dumb. This is Mitch Morris, the district attorney. Okay? All right.
Well, we are family. I'm not representing the Alliance.
No, I understand that. I got no word on
I'm
that.
Alliance, I'm representing this family.
Yes.
And this family community is on hunger strike.
No, I
And fast.
understand that, yeah.
And so we have some folks with some health challenges who are participating in this. Yes, we're doing it intelligently as well.
Please do,
with
yeah.
counsel,
Yeah.
but at the same time, we're really in this place of mourning. And as soon as this is released, the sooner we are released.
Well, I understand.
And any assistance you can give us
Absolutely.
with the DA or whatever that we can bring this forward, really, we
Sure.
appreciate it.
We have expressed, when it was in the police department through the manager of safety, I gave it to her in terms of my record to make sure it's a thorough complete investigation, but to move with a sense of urgency. She expressed it to the police department, which Chief White took very seriously and did. It's important that it's thorough and complete, and has turned it over to the district attorney. We shared that same message with the district attorney, who also was there. I think we shared that with the Minister of Alliance and other representatives. And indeed, this chain of communication with the bodies and governmental entities that are involved in this. Understand, this is very important in the life of this family, but also in the life of the community.
Yes.
To know that it's moving with integrity, with a sense of urgency.
One last thing,
Yeah.
just for clarity,
Uh-huh.
because she asked about the meeting with her mom.
Yes.
And then she
Yes.
came back and reiterated, but when she reiterated the second time, she
Yes.
mentioned also the attorney.
Yes.
And that's when I noticed you said that it has to go through
The moment the attorneys are involved, the attorney
So
will
if
get
there
involved.
is no, so
Absolutely.
if there is no attorney involved, you don't have to go to that check.
I will meet with the family privately, absolutely.
That's important for us to know.
That is very important, yeah. Okay?
If you can please contact
We
me,
will contact this afternoon.
I would
Okay,
appreciate
it's
it.
Brenda Marshall, right?
Yes.
I think that's the individual who called me back and who I may have contacted, but it was, again, shortly thereafter, and I don't recall the name, so.
A lot of stress going on over there.
Well, I certainly understand that, okay?
So Mayor, just in general, what's your message to the community, people who might be interested in this case?
Sure.
What would you just like to say?
Well, I think it's important that everyone understand that the most important thing that as a city we can do is to make sure there's a thorough and complete investigation. We do this with a sense of urgency, to give the family the answers that they need, and we certainly understand the importance of closure. And so that they can address the sense of mourning that comes with losing a loved one. And I certainly understand that. And so we owe it to them, we owe it to the community to get those answers, and that's why it's important that within my purview, at least in terms of communicating with the entities that handle the investigation, that they understand that we move this along thorough and complete, but make sure there's a sense of urgency.
And you made it clear in terms of why it would not be wise for you all to release the video at this time. Could you just restate that?
I think it's important that we have a thorough and complete investigation, but also one that has a great deal of integrity, and that we are able to hold all of ourselves to a standard of respectability and accountability so that we can get the answers you need. And what we don't need is do anything that might impugn someone's recall of the incident and the activities around the incident. And when we release information too early in terms of the video, for example, that's where we begin to, I think, walk the very perilous path of potentially calling someone's recall. We want to get the answers, and we want to make sure they're pure, and that's why we don't want to release them until we know, until the investigation is complete.
And then you mentioned you did not see the.
I have not seen the tape. No, I have not seen the tape.
And then my final question is, a lot of people are comparing this to the Marvin Booker situation. What are some of the lessons that we learned from the past that may be informing our process forward?
Well, I think it's very important when we communicate as much as we know when we know it. And I think that's exactly what we try to do in this incident. The moment this incident occurred, we immediately were reaching out to the family and letting you know you had a person who was Sheriff Furman, as well as the manager of safety, who's a member of my cabinet that you can contact, talk to, and we stay as much in contact with the family as possible. I think that's first and foremost. Two, communicating the sense of urgency behind this investigation so that the family has the answers that the family deserves to have, as well as the community. And we are certainly, we understand the pain that you must feel. We can empathize with that. And so it is important that we get them the information, but it's also as important to make sure this is a thorough and complete investigation for the Marshall family as well as for the sheriff deputy that are involved and the community.
Any recommendations of coming together? What would be next steps? How could we work more collaboratively in this?
Well, I think that the message is very clear. We are all trying to learn lessons from these incidents, as tragic as they are. And it is important that we learn. And I think, Pastor, you said, what are the lessons learned here? And we can take things from this. And I think that we're always asking within the Sheriff's Department, what can we learn from what's occurred here? Issues around mental health, yes, issues around where people are placed within the system so that we're getting them the help they need while they're in the system. Those are things that we're taking away not only from Mr. Marshall's timely passing, but also from anyone else who might enter our system. And so those are lessons learned. More importantly, as family members, when you know someone's in the system communicating because there may be a mental health challenge there, that's important for us to make sure those things are happening. But we got to work through these things. There's no agenda within our system that is calling for us to take someone's life. And the more we talk, the more we communicate, I think the better understanding we have of each other, and more importantly, how we can avoid these kind of incidents in the future.
And you'll be meeting personally with the family. What's the message to the family?
It's always been, again, my deepest condolences to the Marshall family for the loss of Mr. Marshall. And, so that his passing is not in vain, we will learn from this. And we'll implement those things that we learn into the jail system. It is our job and responsibility to care for everyone who's in that system and to make sure our deputies are safe as well. So we have to make sure that balance is there. As importantly, that we have the information to know when people are suffering from challenges that we may not see and know, so that we can make sure they're properly cared for. So, but my deepest condolences to you and the family, and we'll continue to express that. And I do look forward to meeting with the family. Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Take care.